another episode of MOMENTUS IT Tech Talks presented by Technology Worldwide. We said we'd be back. Took us a few months, but we're back. We've done, a few things in the past few months that we're going to talk about today on this podcast. So I think I'm going to pass it over to Ray because we did a nice little project down in his neck of the woods. Spent 5 days hanging out with Ray. It was a lot of fun. He really had a party. It was a lot of fun. Whether we were working or whether it was after work, we had a great time. So what did we do a couple weeks ago here, Ray?
So we did this community project. It was the first ever technology community project where we got 40 of the beautiful members of this community to come out and support Baraka Church in Cheltenham, PA, which is a suburb outside of Philadelphia. The project in total was about $175,000 donation of product, services, and technology to Baraka Church, which is supporting their school, their food pantry, their safe space for the mother and children. It's kind of got like a daycare downstairs that they're starting up and building. So it's at the end of the day, all the technology that we put in is really going to help support them and keep their members safe, which is really nice. So on top of just the technology, to describe the technology, we put in wireless throughout their entire campus and their adjacent food pantry. So we did some wireless point-to-point bridging. Thanks, Rob. We put in 32 cameras that Miguel from VCS down in Florida donated the entire system and the cameras. So thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Even programmed all the cameras for us before shipping them, which was pretty amazing. We installed 6 doors, card access. We put a Brevo panel in. Brevo helped us with that. But Marco and Mick were kind of running the lead on that team. So thank you guys. What else did we do? I don't know.
One more person I want to shout out with that access control, and that's Kevin. So 2-Bit on Instagram.
Of course. God.
If we did not have 2-Bit, I don't know if we would have got those doors done. That man did something magical with those crash bars to make them work. I don't know what he did. That's not my world, but he was working on that for a solid 2 days, and thank God we had him.
I don't want to forget to thank all the team members, so thank you for that. I'm going to do everything I can to remember everything. But yeah, it was pretty successful. We, like I said, 40 plus technicians from all across the country, Canada, came out to support everything. Huge thanks to Cable and Connections for supplying us all of everything, all of the back end fittings, all of the connections. I forget what Darren said that they are, and I should look it up to see what we deemed it. But they basically gave us everything we needed to interconnect everything.
Yeah.
Does that sound pretty good?
And they gave us Theron.
But let's be honest. Was that a help or I don't? Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
I made him help a few times.
Oh well.
I didn't end up in the bathroom straightening cable with Theron this time, but we can hold out hope for next year.
Okay. Are you upset about that? You can be honest here.
I always appreciate my one-on-one time with Theron.
Okay. As we all do. Big thank to Vertical Cable. We installed pink cable, which I've got a little piece from the wire cutting that we did. This is my little piece. I hope you guys saved a little souvenir for yourselves. They donated all the cable, and I looked at the report that we got from Trend, who was out. They came, Jeff, thank you, came out and certified the entire network for us. I think I looked, it was 27,000 feet of cable by the time it was done, based on the report, is what was ran. So between all the cameras, the network that we ran, the wireless access points, it was something around the mark of 27,000 feet of cable. So that's pretty impressive. All to be done in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to thank with the structured cabling too. Pierce was the lead on that project, but he had some amazing guys part of his crew. So we had Splicer Steve doing all of our coring with one of his guys. I think it was Dave, right?
Yep,
that was
Dave.
helping him.
Yep.
And then Justin was down there going along, coring, and just those first 2 days, all you heard was just you were getting a headache. But, it was block wall everywhere in that basement, and that's partially why Rob had to have us install so many access points just to get that coverage because every single wall was block. A lot of hard sealing, but those guys got it done. We had the NWTEL guys from Oregon or Washington. Is it Washington or Oregon?
I believe they're Washington.
Yeah, so we had 3 of those guys come out. We had Running Cables from Canada. He sent down 2 guys. Who else? Abe from Netlion. He was a godsend too. He helped me so much. So I was project managing because Ray had enough on his plate just handling the back end logistics, and Abe was right there with me, making sure everything was getting going. And if him and Sammy weren't there, his dog, I think we all would have went crazy with this job. We had Zach from Denver, Colorado. He was on site. He was kind of more afloat, doing a little bit of everything. So he was a huge help. We had Nick from Texas pop up. He's TrueGuard, right?
He's TrueGuard. Yep.
Yep. So he was similar, floating with Zach all around with the different things we had to do. Dave was another huge help. He might have spent an hour and a half tucked away somewhere when I gave him a job working on outdoor cable. We won't go into that. I promised him I'll never let him work on outdoor cable ever again.
You know what? If you ever make him do it again, maybe you just let him spend more time with Aaron. It'll clear that right
Yeah.
up.
That would have been the perfect opportunity to throw Theron back in that cubby with me.
Oh, 100%.
We missed the chance.
Oh, man. Who else do we have there? Sprinter sent 2 guys, so they sent Uncle Bear and Anthony, which so happy to finally meet Uncle Bear. I mean, we've been friends on the interwebs for many years now, so it was great finally meeting him in person. I know I'm missing people. Trish, our awesome project manager. I don't think we would have got this done if it wasn't for her.
No, we should have had her on this podcast actually, but whoops. Sorry, Trish. This is one of these last minute things where like, oh man, we gotta get a recap up, and I'm exhausted. So this is a whole other different issue.
I mean, the problem is you have all of us who work by ourselves, so we just project manage ourselves. It's real easy. Whereas Trish comes from the healthcare space doing IT in that environment, so she is on the ball when it comes to running a team of 40, 50 techs that we had on site. And I mean, she had it down to, here's where the closest urgent care is. Here's where the closest hospital is. I hope you guys don't get hurt, but it's on the paperwork in case you need it. Two-Bit didn't want to use his data once he got into America, so she printed out maps on how to get from Ottawa all the way down to Philly. Like, she was on top of everything.
Yeah,
and
she's pretty impressive.
Cannot thank her enough.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Who are we missing? I feel like
oh my God, so many. I mean, I didn't know we were going to go into thanking everybody already, or I would have just jumped on that.
Well, I was just going off of the different things we were working on, trying to figure out who was doing what here.
Okay, so just looking at my list, Dan Higdon was in town from Ashton Computer. Dude is a rock star. Absolutely love that guy. Really, really excited to have met him, and I know he was originally going to bring his girlfriend or his fiance. I'm not sure which, so I apologize if she's listening. But I know she couldn't come, but it was a shame. We were looking forward to meeting her. NWTEL was there, so Dan, thank you for coming and bringing your team. Your team is, man, God, good Lord, man. They're just a good group of guys, so it was really fun working with them. Let's see. Dave Johnston, we've already thanked. He's on. We're going to talk to Dave shortly anyway. Let's see. I want to thank my sister Gina for all the help with all the PR, the communication, the marketing, the coordinating with all this project. I mean, she's one of those unsung heroes that wasn't on site but was just doing so much, so I wanted to thank her. Jeff, Trend Networks, certified everything for us. And, I absolutely, we're going to go into Trend a little bit, but having Jeff on site is such like a big piece of what this community is. And he got to meet so many guys, and we got to talk with him. He's a former Fluke rep, and he got to tell us, the good, the bad, the indifferent between, the Fluke and the Trend certifiers and their devices. It was really cool to get his insight on a lot of things. So it was really good to build that relationship with him.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, too, he flipped a Fluke guy.
Yeah, he flipped a really big Fluke guy.
He flipped Pierce.
He flipped Pierce. Pierce now owns 2 of the certifiers that I have here. So I know Pierce is going to be using that and putting some real-world tests this coming week, which is pretty exciting. I hope he does a better job of it than I did, having it on site at the job that I did this week.
I mean,
But
I'll
we'll
give you
see.
a lot of credit. You did a great job with your videos. I mean, there's some stuff that I didn't even know it did. Like that two-way calling with the certifier. That's such a simple idea, but such a great idea. No need for walkie-talkies. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you plug it in, it becomes like a two-way connection. It's kind of like the string in the can.
Yeah,
like you can talk on both ends. It's so cool. Like I'm like, wait a minute, this thing can call. This guy, I can just literally press a button, it'll call my tech. That's amazing.
Yeah, oh, I love that.
But we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah,
Jeff Day, my brother from another mother, came down from Better Day Technologies. He is up in Rhode Island. He came down. He was here for a couple days. I mean, he's a great resource. It was great to work with him. I've worked with him in the past, but I know he was real exciting. He made some really good relationships with guys.
Yes.
Coming down. So that was really cool. Let's see who else we got here. Jeremy Gable, I want to thank him. He sent us, not only did he donate quite a bit of resources for us, but he sent us all the outdoor access point mounts. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
No.
So we had 4 outdoor mounts for the outdoor wireless and the point-to-point bridges that he supplied to us. And I know he wanted to be with us, but he's so busy these days. But it was awesome of him to do that for us.
So I hate to go back to Jeff. I mean, we've just praised Jeff a ton, but remember those mounts he donated to us? We got to make sure we get those out to the community. So Jeff made some custom mounts that allow you to pivot the mounts basically in 180 degrees to get your positioning when you're mounting to a wall. I mean, we need to get creative in the, as I like to call it, the pew room.
Pew, pew, pew.
We had to get creative with the mounts, so he found a 3D mount that he printed out for us, and he donated 4 of those to the project. And I know some of the guys were looking at that for their own projects and are probably going to start using those. And I know you just used them at the church you just did.
I did. So I did another church this week with Sean. Not quite to the scale that Baraka was, but we did another church this week, and I asked him to send me one because I had a use for one.
Yeah.
So he 3D printed those, and it was awesome. So thanks again, bud. Let's see. Josh from Sophia came on. Remember? Yep. He had a great time, man, and it was fun to be able to show him some things, show him some of the tricks, because he's super green, right? Like 10-4 optics.
Super green, but he was soaking up knowledge, just asking questions left and right. So glad we had him there.
Yep. So it was real awesome to have him on site with us, and it was great to meet him. He's a good guy. Justin Colantonio, he is from Total Technology Resources. He's local. He's an awesome guy to know. He got Cyber Power to donate some battery backup units, and he donated his time and a battery backup as well. So that was awesome. So we really appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for coming on site and helping us. I know we thank Justin Turpin because he was here from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. That guy, I think it was Mick that said it. He just sees cable pathways in a way that is just nobody else sees the pathways that guy sees. So
we had the right crew for that job. I was talking to Rob about it because we carpooled down, and he goes, we had the 3 right guys on it because they're used to working in New York City where it's ancient buildings that are all block that you need to find the weirdest ways to get your pass in place. And that's exactly what this building was, especially in the basement, was just brick and block everywhere, and you got to find ways to get to it. And we had the 3 right guys doing it. I can't believe we got it all done, and I can't believe they got stuff where they got wire. Thank God for them.
Yep. Okay, let's go back down the list. Kevin Desai. So I met Kevin through Marco. He runs drops cabling out of North New Jersey. He couldn't make it. He had a sick daughter, so he couldn't come out. But he definitely donated some resources and some time, so we really appreciate him. He's actually buying the Trend Certifier because of the videos that we posted. So he shot me a message yesterday, and he's like, hey, man, do you know if this thing does level 3 certifications? And I said, look, I'm not 100% sure, but let me reach out to Jeff. And I did, and Pierce reached out to Jeff, actually, and Jeff sent us the actual supporting documentation that states, hey, this is a level 3 certifier. So this is the second sale the Trend is getting just because of this community project. So that's pretty awesome. Lisa Barker. How could I not thank Lisa? She designed and helped Darren do everything to make us look good. So, Lisa, we thank you. As every year, Lisa just takes a great bit of care in the work she does and makes sure that we look as good as we can. Marco, I think we touched on him earlier. Thank you, Marco, for coming out and helping us with the Brevo panels and bringing the bucket truck, because that was very needed and very necessary to doing all the outdoor stuff. I know that Jeff and Steve had some fun on that, and I think Rob was on it at one point. I'm not sure, but
it was one of the guys from Running Cable. Can't remember exactly who, but yeah, and Steven was running it the whole entire time. And Dave remembers this because he was up working on that outdoor cable. Those guys got stuck in a rainstorm, which
I forgot about that. Dave, were you out in the rainstorm too, or not?
No, so I was tipping the cable on the inside in the locker, the changing room, and I could hear them. Like, I heard the rain start coming down, and then I hear the drills go in there installing the cameras on the outside of the wall while the rain is starting to come down. All the weather's coming down.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I wonder if it was that Brad?
I think it was, yeah.
Was it Brad that was out there?
Yep.
If it wasn't, it was Dan, because there was 13 Dans on this job. So
no, it was Brad.
It was either Brad or Dan. That was one of the other funny things. We had so many Dans on this job. It was just like, okay, whatever. You're all just going to be Dan. If I can't remember your name, you're just Dan. So Jake was Jake. I'm just looking at the list. Jake was here. He was from NWTEL. Yep. So thank you. He was a funny dude. I like him a lot. I'm just going through the list here. I want to make sure I thank everybody. Kyle, thank you for sending Josh, obviously from Sophia Consulting. It was awesome to have him on board. Miguel, obviously, thank you for the cameras and everything you guys did. All the pictures that he's been posting with his daughter have been absolutely adorable. We've got her, all set up in all TKW swag, which is pretty cool. I love it.
Who was the other local guy that came on Thursday?
Pre.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the P's yet. Let me.
Oh, I'm sorry,
man.
How was I supposed to know you're going in alphabetical order?
I don't know. I'm literally just reading a list. I couldn't remember everything if I tried right now. It's been a week. Mick, obviously Tri-Can Security. I know we mentioned him earlier, but he took care of all the access control. That was super awesome. I mean, just the brain power in that guy. And the Mr. T chain that has become just epic in this community at this point. So I believe he might be coming up. We're meeting all again the 27th. I think he's coming, which will be awesome to work with him again. Mike DeCamp, so from Eaton. Eaton was a big, donor at the last minute for us, and it was super awesome. He saw one of our videos that we posted on Instagram and reached out and said, "Hey, look, man, how do we get involved?" And I said, well, we're a couple $1,000s short of hitting our $25,000 raise goal. And he goes, "You'll have it by Tuesday." And gosh darn it, if we didn't have it by Tuesday. So, I can't wait to start doing more with Eaton because we all use their products. So, it's going to be super fun and super exciting, the things that we're going to do together. So I'm pretty hyped. Mike from Vertical Cable. I mean, somebody else thank Mike, because Mike is tired of hearing me thank him. Dave, we'll start with you.
He's amazing. Anything you need, you reach out to him, and he's got it for you. Right? He's showing up. Yeah. Getting video of us when we least want it.
And trying to do nice interviews with all of us when other people are in the background working right when he says action.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
That was a good time. Thanks, Uncle Bear, as always. Nick from TrueGuard, we thanked him, but he came all the way up from Texas, so we appreciate you being on site. And, you're kind of one of those jack of all trades guys, so we appreciated having you on site. Pierce, it kind of goes without saying, right? His if anybody that is listening to this has not learned a single thing from Pierce, then you're obviously not paying attention.
Yeah.
I think we call him the Godfather for a reason. So Pierce, thank you. Not only for being on site, not only, helping lead this community, but being the most humble human being on the planet. It's amazing to have you here as a leader in this community, and we're all following, man. So thank you so much. We will thank Pre.
Yep.
There we go, because we're on the
There we go.
P's. So Pri, dude, Pri has a company not too far from me in Lansdale. So it was really cool for him to come out, and he found the community, and he's like, hey man, I'm in your backyard. Can I come? I'm like, absolutely. We'd love to have you. And he actually has already had a pretty good relationship with Cable and Connections already. So when he got on site, Darren's like, you're Pri? He's like, we've been working together for this, however long. It was awesome. Who can forget Rob? I mean, Rando Rob owns the Random Station. He is our world traveler. It doesn't matter what I'm working on. I literally call Rob and he's like, hey man, I got 1,000,000 points. I'll just fly there. I'll be there tomorrow. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he is. He did all the survey work, all the Wi-Fi work. He did a post survey, and he's actually going to come back down and do one more validation survey in 2 weeks when we're all meeting together. So he's been doing some fine tuning and stuff like that on the wireless. I mean, he's just an awesome guy. I mean, I don't know how he was made or how he was created, but they do not make people like Rob. He's an amazing, amazing guy. So thank you.
And it's funny, we call him Rando Rob, but the man, we're driving down and he goes, hey, do you think we'll have room for a battery backup to bring back with us? I'm like, why are we bringing a battery backup back with us? Oh, I bought one from a guy in Philly. He's going to bring it to the hotel. The man went home with like $2 or $3 grand worth of equipment from this project. Just random things that he picked up on his travels. Just the most random thing.
Scott Hammond. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
You start talking to Rando Rob, and you really will find out random things about him that you had no idea. Like, here's another facet to Rob.
Yeah.
Like, it's like little surprises here and there. It's great.
Yeah. So Scott Hammond, Hammond racks. One, their racks are phenomenal. I got the privilege of using one for my own project this week. Incredible racks. I mean, easy to build, easy to install, super strong. And on top of that, he made us that absolutely beautiful plaque that went on every rack. So, it was a branding plate that looks just like our shirts and just like our sponsorship signs. And I mean, that was just an extra touch. Instead of using all of our stickers, he got all of our logos and imprinted them. And it was just absolutely beautiful. So Scott, thank you so much, man. You're a huge part of this community and we absolutely adore you. So thank you. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Going down this list, Splicer Steve. That guy has so many skills. I don't even know where to start with him. He shows up, truck full of tools, just ready to work, and he's an absolute joy to work with, and is just so knowledgeable. 1 minute he's on a bucket truck, the next minute he's pulling cable. He's just everywhere, man, and he's such a great guy to have in the community, and I'm excited. Steve from Door Jam. Door Jam was a huge, huge help on this project. So we got those co-branded door jams that came out to everybody. He sent us a bunch for the guys, and he helped us raise funds by doing the TKW promo code on his site. So that's still active forever. I mean, if you're looking at purchasing any door jams, make sure you use the promo code TKW. You'll get 15% off, and proceeds will come back to the community. So thank you so much, dude. I mean, that's super cool what you're doing. Let's see. We're going else on this list here. I hate to keep rushing through this, but there's so many people. Here we go. Of course, Sean, my Sean, and the Puglisi family. Always a huge help, support. Sean and his dad, Steve, came out and did some electrical work for us, made sure that we had home run electric to our panels, to our TVs, and et cetera. So, super happy to always have the Puglisis help us. Zoe, who did all of our fundraising efforts for us, made sure the guys were fed, made sure, they were hydrated, made sure that all of the things were pretty as they should have been. She was our den mother, so to speak, for this project. So we're super happy. And she gave up her birthday weekend to be with us. So it was her birthday that weekend. I will not say her age. She's 25. But she gave up her birthday weekend to make sure that we were all comfortable and happy. So, I mean, huge kudos to her, man. Absolutely love her. Theron. Somebody thank Theron, because I won't.
Thank you, I love Theron. You're the best. I mean, I think the amount of bourbon we bought that man, I think that's thank you enough.
No, it's not. He actually told me he needs more, so I have to send him more. I I was like, all right, pal. But no, he designed everything, with Lisa, with Mike. But that circle TKW shirt logo, oh my
Yeah.
God,
With all of our logos in it.
yeah, I
Amazing.
I know what you're looking for.
Hold
You're
on, I
looking
got
for
it.
a
I might have
sticker.
one. Hold on.
Yeah, so that's what's coming out soon is we ordered 100 of the stickers, and these
Yes.
things turned out mint. Like, we are super excited with how good these turned out.
Wow.
The
Sorry, so it's
definition, all
so
the logos
shiny.
are there.
So
It
yeah,
looks so good.
yeah. So unfortunately, it's backwards. I should have reversed my camera for this, but it's okay. I mean, this thing is slick.
Yeah.
So we're actually getting a lot of merch made with this. So I mean,
Yep.
this is literally for those of you that are watching this podcast. This is every person's logo that was on site and helped us and supported us throughout this entire project. So huge shout out to every one of these people. So yeah. Hey, I even have a door jam sitting right here. Speaking of which, it's a blue TKW door jam.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, we can't thank Theron enough. No matter what you ask of the man, he's there for us, whether it be just getting product for the project, getting product for our own businesses, but he's also doing graphic design for TKW members. Like, he is such a valuable asset, it's not even funny. So thank you.
And we're not even thanking him for the relationships that we have with our other partners. So we don't have a door jam without him. We don't have a Simply 45 without him. We don't have
Trend.
a Vertical Cable without him. We don't have a Trend without him. We don't have Pulling Pals without him.
Nope.
I mean, you think about all the relationships that he made for us. He even got Joner to send us, the box of the shears
Yeah.
for the guys.
Yep.
Like, we don't have those relationships without Theron. So I mean, it's that relationship and that partnership with Cable and Connections and Theron most especially. Because of them, we are building this community. So thank you guys. Cable Connections, we absolutely love you, and we can't wait to keep doing more with you.
And since you mentioned Pulling Pails, I do want to send a big thank you out to them. They sent us 12 packs of their Pulling Pails, so 2 per pack, and those things were used left and right on that project. There were definitely some situations we got in that the guys needed those pulleys to be able to make some turns and make some pulls. And the new design, the 2.0 design, people are going to be very happy with that 2.0 design. Guys that had the original one, there were some headaches with it, and this redesign takes away all those headaches, and the guys cannot be happy with these things. They are great. I can't wait to order my own because we gave away all of them to the community.
Yeah, I didn't get any. So the job that I did this week with Sean, we did another church this week, and I'll get into that project in a few minutes. But I used the original Pulling Pals on that job because we had so many corners to wrap around.
Yeah.
And Sean looked at me and goes, "Where the hell do these things come from? They're amazing." I'm like, "You should see the new ones." I was like, "These things are awesome, but the new ones are even better."
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're pretty good. We've got a few more people to thank, and then we'll get on to talking about other nerdy technology things. Trish, of course, RPM. We already thanked her, but I think it goes without saying, without Trish, we don't have this project because, let's face it, I'm about as organized as. Yeah, you guys are all laughing, but honestly, it's having Trish on this project really proved that you need somebody with that true PM skill set, and she's got it. So we're real fortunate to have her. So thank you, Trish. Let's see, losing my list here. Uncle Bear, dude.
Yeah.
I love you. That's all I can say is I'm just excited. I'm just happy you were with us, man. It was so cool to finally meet you, work with you, and be side by side with you. It was an awesome experience, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank you. And Zach Cordova, Pest Security Solutions. That dude has a pocket full of tricks for everything. Like, I don't know where he's gained all of his knowledge from, but he has got a bag of tricks for everything. I mean, he has this one wrist, magnetic wrist thing that he had that was just holding all of his screws because he was mounting all the J hooks. But he's full of knowledge, man. He's so smart. I want to be him when I grow up someday, if I ever grow up. But thank you for coming all the way out from Denver, man. It was awesome to work with you. Did I miss anybody?
I'm
sure I did.
I think that's Anthony. We want to thank Anthony for coming out.
I think we thanked Anthony. I mean, he's already got a job. I told him, if you ever leave Sprinter, you can come work for me. Sorry,
He's already
Chris,
got the swag. He's already got the
Sorry.
swag, too.
He's already got a shirt, so he's good.
So I think there's some secondary sponsors we do want to thank. Home
Yep.
Suites. They
Yep.
were, without them, I don't think we would have had a place to stay.
No, not that many people.
No, we would
Definitely
have had to stay
not.
at your house.
Oh, great. No problem. The Hotel Libertas is always open for you guys.
And then another big thank you I want to put out is to Moss Mill.
Oh, yeah.
So Nick showed up. We ended up working super late.
Hold on. Let's just talk about the noise Dave just made. He just said, So continue your story, and then I will let Dave talk about Moss Mill for the next 3 hours. But go ahead.
So we ended up working late on Sunday, just trying to button things up because a lot of us were heading out Monday, and we just wanted to make sure Ray didn't have like a ton of stuff on his plate that he had to worry about. So we're there until 10 o'clock, and our whole plan that day was, we're going to Moss Mill. We're going to Moss Mill. We're going to have food. We're going to have beer. It's going to be a great time. And they had their Oktoberfest the day before, and I really wanted to try the Oktoberfest. So I was frustrated. Dave wanted to eat everything on the menu again. He was frustrated. So we're just sitting there. All of a sudden, Nick walks in. We're like, hey, what's up? He goes, I got 5 cases of beer in the back of my truck, and here's some food.
Yep.
All right, then. Let's go. So
Yeah, that came
huge
in
thank
clutch.
you to Nick and the whole team at Moss Mill for everything they did the week that we were there. So thank you for that.
Yep. I mean, without them, I mean, quite frankly, they donated a bunch of food to the Friday night happy hour.
Yeah.
They donated beer for that. They wanted to make sure they were, everybody was welcomed into the community. So, Nick, Evan, and Chef Matt, thank you guys. Seriously, without you, this project would never happen anyway. I mean, you are tied to that church and that community.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah, and what's funny is, 2 Thursday nights are supposed to be their kind of quiet night. They have a limited bar menu. Everything's supposed to be quiet for them. And then, 20 of us show up and order everything that they had on the menu.
All day long Thursday. I'm like, Ray, so we're going to Moss Mill tonight. He's like, no, Dave, we have plans to go to this place. I'm like, yeah, but we can go to Moss Mill instead, and it will be great. And turns out it was awesome.
So you guys all realize, I mean, for I know you guys realize, but October 27th, there is a small group of guys coming back to do some punch list items at Baraka Church.
Yep.
Why did we choose the 27th, Dave? I'm just curious.
Isn't there something delightfully delicious and amazing going on? What is it? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the first day of the week that Moss Mill opens because they're only open from Thursday to Sunday.
That's
so,
right.
So the guys all said we will come back as long as we do it on Thursday. And we can go to Moss Mill afterwards. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. Do you want to thank any of the other sponsors, Brandon, or you want me to continue?
You can continue. Those are the two that I really wanted to nail on.
So I want to thank Advanced Living Communities. Randy, he donated his time driving the bus to make sure that people got to and from the hotel safely, both nights of our sponsorship dinner and the happy hour that we had. And I'm really happy because Advanced Living is a client of mine, and they got to see, just the power of what community does. And Randy was just completely taken back by it. He's like, he's known me for years because I run their IT for them. But he's like, Ray, he goes, I had no idea you had this kind of community just at your disposal. And I'm like, it's something amazing that we've built, and I'm super happy for everybody that's in. And it was really cool for him, who runs a giant organization, to see the kind of organization we're running and just look at us and say, man, you guys are doing the right things. It's impressive. So kudos to this whole community. 365 data centers. So, thank you, Stephen Klender, for that relationship and their donation to the community. It was a huge help. Clinical Mobility Technologies, they donated so much. So you guys got to meet Tina and her sister, I'm assuming, at the barbecue Friday night. So they donated some of our giveaway items. They donated a pack-out kit that Dave's girlfriend won, which was pretty cool. Fire pit, coffee maker. They donated some really nice high-dollar value auction items that help us raise the money. And they're just great people. So Lauren and Tina, thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. We really appreciate it. CyberPower for donating, the battery backups, and Justin, thank you for that relationship. Curbside Confections. Tara's business is incredible. And for those of you that don't remember the previous podcast that we did, Tara owns Curbside Confections and is Marco's wife, Marco's leading lady. And her organization, Curbside Confections, is absolutely amazing. It's incredible, and her business is booming and exploding, and we couldn't be happier for her. So thank you, Tara, so much for your donation, your time, your support, and for letting us borrow Marco. We appreciate that. Poet, want to thank Joe. Seriously, Joe is a great guy, always been an advocate of our community, always been there, just supporting us, and we greatly appreciate it. And we're really excited about the things that we've done with Poet and the changes that you guys have made that you've just released. So for those of you guys that don't know, Poet actually sent us some equipment to test probably about 6 months ago at this point.
Yep.
Sound about right?
Yeah.
And, we had it here. I had an AP, a switch, their light fixture, their outdoor light. I'm sorry, their light switch, their light fixture, a switch, and their AP. Their AP is super powerful. It's a Wi-Fi 6 AP. But we found some things about it that we brought to his attention and brought to the owner of Poet's attention and their help desk. And they all came together and realized the changes that we had asked them for were pretty reasonable. And they just released them at CEDIA. So at CEDIA, they announced all of these changes that were made were suggestions that we had made to them. And they took technologies, suggestions to heart, and they implemented them. So these are the kind of relationships that we're trying to build with the community and with our partners. And I think that's important because those kind of things aren't happening everywhere. So that's the kind of thing that, we want our community to know. Like, we're here to not just take pictures of equipment or unbox equipment or make videos of equipment. We're actually taking these things and putting them in the field. So, we've done it with Poet. We're doing it right now with Trend. It's stuff like that's an invaluable resource to not only the partners but to the community. So
it's not. Just
I think that's
like
something new and exciting.
It's not just like a vendor relationship, like a sponsor relationship either. Like with these guys, we'll give them feedback, real feedback, and they'll come back to us with solutions and recommendations. It's not just with them. There's been other vendors where I've been like, hey, can we try this or can we do that? And they always come back with something.
Absolutely. I mean, a great example is Hammond. He literally has a survey on our Slack right now about one specific rack, and I think it's the depth of the rack and some changes he wants to make with that because of community feedback.
Yep. And that's the big difference I think we are from other communities, and we can touch on this in a little bit. I think the partners that we have are listening to us and looking for our feedback and taking that feedback and saying, you know what? These guys use our product day in, day out. We're going to listen to them. And they do. So we're not talking to, somebody in a marketing department or somebody, at the front desk. We're talking to the business owners. We're talking to the people that can make those impactful changes. I mean, they're the kind of people we need to talk to, and we are. And they're talking to us. They're actually asking us for the feedback, which is amazing. So it's a great relationship all around.
Absolutely.
Simply 45, they sent us, I believe, a dozen tools, 10 tools, 12 tools. I'm not sure.
A lot of tools.
Yeah, they sent us a lot of tools. So, thank you guys for sending those. We put those to quite a bit of good use. I know there's actually a really good topic and thread going on right now about that tool and those pro fittings. And I think we're going to be sending some positive changes their way too about some things that we're finding, and hopefully we can help them make an even better product than they've already made, which is pretty hard to do. They've got a really good product as it is. I want to thank Stephanie from State Farm locally. She supported our project and donated, so thank you. 10-4 Optics.
Yipper.
Oh, man, huge. Sent us all the mods we need for the project. Twice over, actually. And we'll just leave it at that. But, Brent, I want to thank you for that. So it's just absolutely love working with them. Trend Networks, we thanked you already. Not only are you a huge part of our community, we hope we're a huge part of yours. Like I said earlier, we've already sold. This is now going to be 3 sets of these testers at this point.
Yep.
To members of our community just because of that project and having Jeff on site. It's been invaluable to us, and I hope it's invaluable to them. And of course, I'm going to thank the great Vertical Cable. All of the cable, everything, the footage, the interviews that are about to come out, all donated by Vertical Cable and Mike. Like, I can't say enough good things about them. I will never be able to thank them enough. Just having them be in our corner is probably one of, the best relationships that have ever been formed. They have the same mentality they back to their communities, and we give back to ours, and it's just nice having that same mindset throughout. So I also want to thank Chef Rich, for cooking for us, as he always does. He came out Friday and then cooked for us again Saturday night. I'm trying to get my screen, but of course Windows is in my way, so I can't even get rid of this thing. Chef Matt, we thanked you. Randy, how could I forget to thank Randy? Randy was our aerial acrobatic on the Silks. I still have her giant aerial swing that I need to return to her, as she reminded me yesterday. It's taken apart. It's not still in my yard, so don't think about coming and hanging out upside down at my house. But she's amazing, man. She's so talented, and just getting to see her over the last couple of years get better and better and better. Her skill is amazing. And she even gave us some artwork.
How are we doing, everyone?
I think you
we have another episode of Uncle Ray bought a
Whoa.
nice little piece of art for the girls' bathroom. So my wife's in the process of redoing the girls' bathroom in like a beachy mermaid theme. So there was a nice little piece of art that we were able to get, and that's going to be going in the bathroom here in a little bit.
Yeah. And CP Print, want to thank them for all of our signage and our printing and everything that they did for us. Every year they make our signs look good, and they always take care of us. So I want to thank Pat and Steve at CP Print. So thank you guys so much. Thank Judy Doherty as well for coming out and supporting us. She came on site. She always does. We love having Judy. Absolutely adore her, and I'm really excited that she was able to come out and see the guys again and work with us. And last but not least, want to thank Debbie Getz for helping us with the PR and getting the news stations out. Got us on the news, got us in a couple newspapers, which was pretty cool. So just helping spread the word and the beauty that is technology. And I am done talking because I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, the only other people I'd like to thank is the members of Braca Church. They were nice enough to feed us for several of those days, and they also had their Sunday service outside so we could continue working, which was a huge feat because we were all in that pew room on Sunday doing all the things, and it would have been a little hard if they were doing service in there. And with the 40 of us running around and then bringing their congregation in, it would have been a lot. So thank you to them for doing their service outside, and thank you for feeding the whole entire crew for those several days, and cleaning up after us downstairs too. So thank you again for that. So
I think that I would like Dave. I'm putting him on the spot. I think I want Dave to talk relationships. I know we had some other topics I think that we wanted to get to, but we're almost at the hour mark. So maybe we'll save some of those other topics. But
absolutely.
I think what I would like to talk about, and I'm going to let Dave do it, is let's talk about the relationships that were made in this project and the community that was built.
Well, so we're an online community. We talk to each other regularly. We shoot ideas back and forth. And a lot of times it's hard to get a real feel for the person when you're just on the other side of the keyboard. You can't read inflection. It just doesn't happen. And then once you get people in front of each other face to face, all of a sudden there's this chemistry that happens, right? They start going back and forth. They start making jokes. They start talking about gold chains and buying gold chains when they go back home. We did the charity project. What was it? There's been 2 previous ones now. Yeah. And I made a lot of friends at the last one, and it was smaller. We really did it out this year, and going back this year, seeing some of those old faces and just renewing those friendships, and then being able to meet other people and just compound on that. Like it's amazing. Like there's people that I've talked to and sent texts that, mostly it was just message board contacts, and now we're, on a talking basis. What wasn't it? even the week after, we had a 4-way Instagram live feed
Yep. Yep.
with Security Bear,
Yep. We hijacked them.
fireside chats with Bear. Can we do that again, Bear?
Yes, please.
100%. I hope you guys do.
But like we have really strong relationships, and now like there's people all across the world, I guess, if you count Rob being on the other side of the world some days.
Yep.
There's people all around the world now where if you have an issue, you can call and you can rely on them. And that's powerful. Like, because we're all, like you said it before, we're all small businesses. We're all our own project managers. We're all our own troubleshooters. Most of us are like 1 or 2 man shops. So these relationships are really powerful in helping us in our day-to-day operations. Like, it's crazy how much of an impact it has every day.
Yeah, and I think with some people, their online persona perceives them like people think they're one way and they think they're one type of person, and when they got on site with us, completely different person. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the rock stars of the project, and he is not at all like his online persona, and can't thank him enough. He even has his own world inside our Slack. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, I think to touch on, what Dave said, building these kinds of relationships with people online is tough. I mean, it's great because you can have, your banner back and forth. But when you bring all those guys together and egos are checked at the door, I think that's key. Like, every one of these guys that came on site was a business owner, right, at one point, or is becoming a business owner or is learning.
Yep.
And I did not notice at any one point anybody beating their chest and saying my way was better. It was, hey, this is how I do it. And it's like, okay, this is how I do it. And it just meshed. One of my favorite moments, and I know it was Dave's favorite moment, is he showed Pierce something that Pierce didn't know. And that, Pierce was just ecstatic, and Dave is still like, I don't even know how that happened.
I still think he's pulling my leg. I did not show all green lights how to tip a cable. That didn't happen.
No,
that didn't happen.
But it was fun. I now know that I've got guys from all across the country that I can rely on at any one point. It doesn't matter. And this is why we do the things that we do. I mean, it's nice that we give back to communities that are in need. I mean, that's the whole purpose. But the reality of it is, for us, it's now we've got guys that are everywhere, and we can rely on them. Doesn't matter where we are. I could be in Texas tomorrow, and I know that I can call Nick and be like, "Hey, man, I'm in Texas. I'm running into these problems. Where are you at, and how fast can you get here?" And I'm hoping he answers the call. My guess is he probably will, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Well, and the other thing that I was just thinking of, like, Pierce and Abe pull guys from the community all the time to help them on these projects, and now they can see these guys in a real world environment, how they work, what their work ethic is like, what their work quality is, and they know that they can call on X, Y, or Z to have them on a site with them to help them on a project. I know if Pierce is in Ohio, he's going to call Dave and say, "Hey, please come help me."
Yep.
And I mean, Rob, you can call him Rob. He'll go anywhere. The man will travel for work.
Man will travel.
He will travel no matter what. But no, it was great for those guys to see some of these different people in the community that they haven't had an opportunity to work with yet. And there's a beautiful picture that Ray had printed out at CVS?
Yeah, I think it was CVS. I mean, it was a while. Here's my boy. Yeah, there goes Sammy. I mean, it was like $10, man. But this thing sits on my desk now. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so it's great for guys to see each other work, and now hey, I can rely on this person for this type of project, and you saw these guys' skill sets in real-world environments, and that was huge, and I'm very happy to see that.
You take that one trick, that one shortcut that you learn, and it will save you hours on a project, and then you multiply that times all the projects you do each year, it saved you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just from learning that one trick, just from being around, keeping your mouth shut, watching and listening, and just seeing that trick, it pays for itself, right?
Absolutely. Well, and like one example is Pierce and Abe will pre-label all their cables with actual vinyl labels. Ray started doing this on the project he recently did. But one thing I don't know if you guys picked up on, but the way that Pierce labels it, he takes the cable, puts it in his hand, pulls it down to his elbow, and that's where he puts the label. So he knows that it's going to be outside his electrical tape and it's not going to get bound up in electrical tape. I'm just like, okay, this is such a smart idea. And this takes 1 second to measure out, 2 feet, 1.5 feet? Such a great idea. And you're always going to have your marker in a uniform spot.
Yep.
And it's just little things like that. I just, can't thank this community enough. And then just some of the random knowledge that the community has. On Sunday, we were stressing out because the elevator was causing some headaches for us. I think that's the right way to put it, with voltage regulation coming from the elevator. And we're scrambling. We're like, okay, how can we get this down? What can we do? Justin Turpin leaves, comes back a half an hour later. He goes, yeah, I just went to the auto parts store and I picked this transformer up. This is going to fix our problem. We're good. The rest of us are like, we need to find this exact part. What are we going to do? Justin's like, nah, I got it. I'll be back. And it worked perfect.
Yeah, Justin has got a ridiculous number of skill sets and tools in his pocket. And that just comes from 30 plus years of doing this. So
absolutely,
it's nuts. It's absolutely incredible.
You throw the man a curveball this year, last year, and he knocks it out of the park, no matter what. And I mean, that's the type of people we love having in this community. You can have the strangest, weirdest problem, and somebody in this community has an answer to it.
Very true.
I learned a trick from him that I used yesterday. I've always known, like, when you're taking a drill bit through a wall, you pretty much go straight on, and you can kind of angle a little bit. Watching him go aggressively, like, up with the drill, I use that to mount a camera on the outside of a building and, like, hit the interior of the building just yesterday.
We saw, man. I saw that video. It was really cool.
Yeah. Just an extra long drill bit and really angle it down and makes it a one-shot job.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, this was such an amazing project. This is beyond what the four of us thought it could have been, was going to be. Like, we were blown away coming in that Thursday, Friday, when everybody ended up showing up. And Ray and I and Pierce and Marco were just sitting there like, what's going on here? We're not even a year old. And we raised $27,000 for this project, and we had 40 plus guys show up to work. And it was just, it blew our mind. We were so taken aback by the whole entire thing. I can't thank this community enough for being there on the project and just the day-to-day support that you guys provide each other. I'm so happy with the direction we're going in, and I see huge things for us, and I can't wait to see what the next few years bring. We have some ideas in the back of our heads that we'll start bringing out to the community here in a little bit. Next year, we're not going to be doing the project in Philly, so we're going to be asking the community, present us with project in your neck of the woods, and let's hammer out a project somewhere else. And Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Florida, wherever. We want to definitely do something outside of Philly, because I think Ray's getting a little tired. He's getting a little tired of, not sleeping. And
well, it's not even that. I mean, it's a little bit of that, let's be honest. Yeah. But it's also, we've got guys all across the country with projects that are special and important to their heart. And we'd love to do something in their communities. It's, Tech Knowledge may have its address in Warminster, PA, but we're worldwide. So it doesn't matter where the project is, where it takes us, we'll be there. So I'm really hoping that somebody on this team comes up with a great idea, and I'm not going to not pat on myself on the back, but I've set the bar pretty high, guys. So
we can can we just set the next event somewhere near wherever Moss Mill's second location is going to open?
There we go again. Yep. Maybe if we do something in like the New Jersey area or the Maryland area, maybe I can talk Nick into driving us some food, or at least freezing us some food and sending us some. I don't know, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. So aside of the community, like, what was the one shining moment that you had on the project, Dave? What do you think? Like one thing that just shot you.
Ooh,
I'm putting you on the
that's a
spot.
tough one.
Brandon, I'm going to ask you the same question.
That's a tough one.
I already got it.
Yeah, I mean, I was, you guys already said it. I was really amazed when, not to bring up Moss Mill again, but when he showed up Sunday, like we had all been working and we were really hoping to get done and show up at the restaurant and hang out. And so we were all kind of getting bummed, but you know, you stay till the job's done. We do that on all our sites, right? And so when we were running up to it, we were going to miss that kind of social hour with all of us. And so we're just sitting there. He showed up with this big platter of like buffalo chicken and French fries and like all of the beer. And like it was a great piece of closure to the day, to the weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's not forget, and I want to make sure she gets credit, but Evan and her kids showed up and they were there. You know, she kind of knocked on the door and she's like, "Hey, you guys are still here." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're still here." And she's like, "I thought you were going to Moss Mill." And I'm like, "Yeah, I thought we were going too." And, you know, she's like, "Okay, well, what can we do to help?" And she had her, you know, her son and her daughter with her. And I'm like, I don't know. You guys just want to hang out. It's just nice to see other faces at this point.
Right.
And her and her kids just started walking around and finding, like, they made a game of it, like empty water bottles or half drank water bottles or like
trash.
Yep. And they just started trash it. Like it was just such a great experience. But what was yours, Brandon?
So as you guys know, it was hit or miss of whether I was coming and whether or not I was staying because of some health issues my youngest was having during the whole entire time I was there and prior to me coming. And what blew me away was, I'm not even kidding, the guys in this community every hour asking me for an update, wondering what's going on, just wanting to make sure that she was feeling better, that she was home, that things were turning in the right direction. And then a huge shout out to Ray. So on Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get some Get Well Soon cards and have the community sign them. And I go to Wegmans. I mean, Wegmans is my grocery store. That's what we do up here. And I'm like, okay, they got to have a Get Well Soon card. We have like 14 card aisles in Rochester. Well, in Philly, apparently, because you guys can serve booze and wine inside your Wegmans, they took away all the card aisles and made wine aisles.
It's what we do here, man. What else do we have?
All I could find was like wedding cards and birthday cards. So I text Ray because I knew he had a few things to do in the morning and was going to be showing up late. So I wanted to make sure I was on site, got the guys going. I go, can you do me a huge favor? Can you just get 2 Get Well Soon cards? We can have the community sign. And he shows up with 2 Get Well Soon cards and an awesome Squishmallow for my daughter, which she sleeps with every night. And I cannot thank you enough for doing that. And then on top of that, he buys a piece of art for the girls to go in the bathroom. I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to see if Anne-Marie wants one. And he's like, I got it. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. And just thank you so much for doing that. I blown away from you, from this community. It meant a whole lot to my wife and I for just the support that we had that weekend. And also a huge shout out to Rob. The original plan was Rob was going to carpool down with me. Like, it'd be a nice, fun trip. It'll be fun. And I'm down there. I'm like, I might have to come home Thursday. I might have to come home Friday. I might have to come. Like, it was such in flux. We had no idea. And the whole time, Rob goes, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. If I have to fly back, I have to fly back. Maybe Clenner can take me to New York City so I at least have a direct flight. But whatever you need, it's fine. Just, my car's at your house. Just pick me up at the airport so I can get my car. But I don't mind having to fly back. And, I mean, huge hats off to him that he was just so flexible with the whole entire situation. So thank you to Rob. Thank you to the community. Thankfully, she's doing much better now and headed in the right direction with her. So hopefully next time the girls can show up and they really want to come meet Uncle Ray. So I think we're going down next spring, next summer. We're going to try to go down in the next couple weeks, but it's just not going to work out time-wise. But we want to go down next spring, next summer. And then I told Ray he's got to come up here in the summer because this little distillery that I keep buying the guys booze from, they're building a mega distillery in Rochester. And I showed Ray the renders. So he will be up here in the summertime.
You had me at booze.
Yes. And same with Dave. Open invite for Dave to come too. I told him whenever he wants to come. He's a couple hours away. Feel free to come whenever. We hooked him up with some nice TV mounts, and I told him I got a warehouse full of them. And I will hook him up with however many mounts he wants.
It's
I
awesome.
think I'm underestimating just the volume of like hardware and parts that you guys go through.
It's not what we go through. It's just we do the recycling, and my father's only one man, so he can only recycle so fast. So we literally have 15, 20 pallets of those Peerless mounts that just sit there because he can't go through everything fast enough.
Nice. Well, we've hit the hour mark here, and I know there were a lot of things.
We haven't hit the hour mark yet.
No.
What about you? What's your takeaway?
Oh no, we're completely at the hour.
Nope. What is your takeaway?
God, so many things that happened. Overall, I think the overwhelming sense of family is the word I'm going to use. You know,
Yeah.
we've built a family. You know, we've got some overachievers and we've got some underachievers. I'm one of them. But just the absolute, just the way that I saw the community change from before the project until after the project. I mean, the reality of it is, if you look in our Slack channels, the guys are still talking about stories from being on site. You know, we did this project 4 weeks ago at this point, right? It's actually almost a month ago. Literally to the day, it's almost been a month. And
How many times has it been just a random topic in the thread now just turns into 175 threaded replies of random stuff, and you're reading, and it's like a story, like the evolution of a conversation.
yeah, and I've said it. I've said it a million times, and I've said it before the project and after the project. I knew this was going to happen, and that's why I kept begging people to get involved in this project, because FOMO, it's a real thing, right? And apparently Jeff just learned this word, but FOMO, fear of missing out. And the people that did not come or could not come for whatever reason, they missed out on something huge. And I feel bad for them because they missed out on these real relationships that we've made. And, you know, there's so many inside jokes that people that are on the outside are reading these jokes and are like, I don't even know what the hell these guys are talking about. It's
Mr. George? Mr. George?
hello, Mr. George.
George.
Mr. George. It's like there were just so many funny things that happened that if you weren't a part of it, you're going to miss it. And, you know, there's always going to be chances to build relationships in the future because we're going to do this all the time. But it's like, get involved, man. Like, be a part of this, because you're going to get so much more from this than you ever put into this. And I think that's important. So I think for me, the big takeaway was just the family that we've built, and I'm super proud of it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I mean, on that note, some of the plans we have for the future, it's going to involve more social interaction, not just straight work, more learning, more social interaction, more family building. And we're excited to bring that to you guys in the next few months here. So anything else you guys want to touch on today?
There's a lot I want to touch on, but I'm pretty sure that it's been an hour and nobody wants to hear me anymore. I keep getting told to shut up. And I get it. I'm sorry. I don't even know myself.
We started with a lot of topics, and we just went for an hour really thanking everybody in the community. I mean, how amazing is that?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to circle back on all of this, all of our other topics we have. And now we have a new time slot, new recording set. So we're going to try to be pushing these out every 2 weeks now and get on a more consistent schedule. Dave, you're going to have to come back next week in 2 weeks, because we have 5 or 6 other topics that we wanted to talk about that we didn't even have a chance to hit on. So I think that's it for today. Everybody's good? Nothing?
I mean, I'm just looking through threads of things of people. I mean, I got nothing, man. Other than I want to thank Sammy, who can't hear me, but I loved having Sammy on site. Like, he is the world's best mascot. I absolutely loved having him on site.
He's the most well-behaved dog, and listen to everybody. Like, he would just randomly wander outside, and anybody could say, "Hey, Sammy, come back inside," and he just waddles back inside, none the wiser. Oh, it's great. So, Dave, where can people learn more about Ohio Fit and the projects you're working on?
The best place to go is on Instagram, Ohio Fit. You can find me on there. You can see the different projects I'm working on, what kind of troubles I'm getting into, and what kind of fun I'm having.
Awesome. Ray, what about you?
Instagram's probably the best way to go, at Libertas Ray.
Love it. He pushed out a lot of stories one night. I'm sitting there controlling our Tech Knowledge Instagram, and every 5 minutes he's pushing a story at me, rapid fire, while he's certifying all those cables. He was having some fun this week on that project.
Great tool, man.
You can find me on Instagram at tsc.it, and you can find the whole Tech Knowledge community on Instagram at TechKnowledgeWW. If you would like to learn more about Tech Knowledge, go into our profile on Instagram. You can get the link to our link tree. That has your connection to join our Slack, our LinkedIn page, our Facebook, all the fun things. If you want to just circumvent all that, just send an email to slack@techknowledgeww.org. That's going to go to Ray I, Pierce, and Marco. That'll send us a little notification that you want to get in the Slack community. We'll send you an invite, and you're in. That's as easy as it is. There's no paywall. There's no nothing. Just send us an email. You're in the community. You have full access to everything. Nothing's behind a paywall. Nothing is hidden. Everything's wide open. You have access to all of our vendors. You have access to all the members of the community. And we hope to see you there. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for doing this, guys.
All right.
Until next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.